Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Today we're going to combine a figure's accessories with the poses to maximize the familiarity with the character. To do that, we're going to be using the Dr. Bones McCoy 6-scale figure from Quantum Mechanics. Let's get started. Okay, here he is, Dr. Leonard H. Bones McCoy, 6-scale figure from Quantum Mechanics. Still in his box, exactly the way he's going to come to you. Look at all this thrilling stuff. This is everything that you need to pose Bones in any way imaginable. Can't wait to see what I can do with this, so let's get started. Okay, before we can get started posing this figure, there are a lot of things that we need to do as far as prep work is concerned, because he comes with a lot of accessories, and you can actually implement a fair number of them into the pose at any given time. This is his medical bag, and it actually has places in it for all the things that you see here. So if you like, you can go ahead and insert all these different cylinders into these little tiny straps right here inside this medical bag. You know, just be careful with that. Maybe stretch it out a little bit, and yeah, sure enough, that last one goes in there nice and easily once you do that. Just make sure the way is clear. In addition, you have this syringe, which I believe goes right in here. And last but not least, there's a hole for this little sensor here. Now that we have everything into the medical bag, we're just going to set it aside while we do everything else that we need to do. And I'm thinking that for this particular pose, I want it to be sort of a Dr. McCoy hero pose. We're going to get all of the accessories that we can into this shot, and that includes his iconic ring. Now, there's a little bit of lore behind this ring, and all Star Trek fans will know this, but for those that don't, DeForest Kelley, while the show was being filmed, was married, and he refused to take off his wedding ring for the shoot. And now as a bit of compromise, the show's producers talked him into wearing it on his little finger instead of his ring finger. So there you go, just a little bit of trivia for you. The easiest thing to apply next will be the tricorder. That goes up over this arm, and the strap goes up over his head. This is pretty much how you always see them wearing the tricorder. It's slung over the right shoulder and hanging by the left hip. Now, because we're going to bring the medical bag in to play right here, best to bring the tricorder back behind him a little bit. The next thing I like to do will be his communicator. There's a magnet, and it goes right back here. You always see that when they go for the communicator, it's in the back of the pants. And next step will be the pistol. Nice firm grip on that magnet. Now let's just go ahead and dial the pose in. In trying to determine which direction to have Bones looking, I think you want to think about what you want to have on display. Now in this case, I want my viewer to see the ring. I want my viewer to see the tricorder, medical bag, just a hint of the pistol sticking out there. There isn't a display in the world that's going to allow you to see that communicator. It's just more like, I don't know, bragging rights. Like, you know that it's there, and you can show anybody who's viewing your collection that it's there. It's never going to be on full display unless you have him holding it. Now, so first things first, let's go ahead and dial that pose in. I'm going to turn this foot. I'm going to rotate this foot to his left, my right, just to give a little bit of direction to it. Rotate his body just a little bit that way too, like he's turning. And see how his hips are back? I don't think that's attractive at all. I think we're going to move his hips forward a little bit like he's leaning into the shot. Just keeping an eye on that strap just to make sure everything's nice and flat on the torso. One of the things that I noticed fairly early on in my Star Trek fandom was that you would always walk into a shot after a commercial break and see that everybody was still holding a pose that they'd struck after some action had just occurred. It was really cheesy and really delightful, but it's something that stuck with me. So while this pose is going to be kind of a hero pose, you'll see some of the crazy, exaggerated poses that you can probably affect just to conjure that in your head. And there we go. In the original Star Trek series, Bones served as the linchpin between Kirk and Spock, alternately grounding the wilder sides of Kirk's humanity and pulling Spock back from his flat, emotionless, logical Vulcan half. He rounds out the trio nicely, a perfect addition to any Star Trek display.